What's up everybody? So I've been trying to farm the Abyss and some Frigid Dawn pieces for a PvP build I want to make. I've had just zero luck so far. But this gameplay is from a portal in Shatter Mountain just outside of Murkgard. Honestly, I don't know if these even drop the Abyss. I don't think they do, but I've been doing them anyway just in case. Because I feel like I've done like 70 of these so far and not gotten anything. Anyway, so sometimes somebody will happen to come by and they'll try to help out for a minute, and they either end up dying and leaving, or they just die and come back and help again. But either way, a couple people have asked, why are you just living through this? Why are you so tanky? And short answer is pretty much, heavy armor, focused mages, Blooddrinker, ton of lifestealing. But I thought I'd make a video going a little bit more in depth. I recorded what I thought was going to be a quick breakdown of the build, and that shit ended up being like 7 minutes long even though I tried to rush it. But anyway, hopefully this answers a lot of questions and helps somebody. I don't care too much about PvE, but this was the best way I found to just brute force my way through everything by myself, because I don't really like relying on anybody else or having to team up with a healer, any of that kind of crap. So we go max lifesteal, tanky as hell, kind of like when the game first came out and everybody was first leveling 1 to 60 with heavy armor, hatchet, and life staff. Kind of the same concept. Heal yourself, be tanky as hell. You don't do a ton of damage, but if you stand there left clicking long enough, you'll kill everything. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and one thing I forgot to mention in the breakdown was I'm using moonstones on both weapons, because, well, it's a pretty nice damage bump, and for the sword, you have pretty long cooldowns, so that's a lot of left clicking, where you get a 20% damage boost, and with the hatchet, pop berserk, hit him with a running throw, and then as soon as you hit the button for Raging Torrent, the 20% damage boost is activated because it goes on cooldown. So you get the bonus for the ability itself and after. Anyway, I hope this helps. Enjoy. Alright, so I recorded a way longer version of this. I'm going to try to cut a lot of time off this. The important parts are getting to 350 constitution for the damage reduction, 200 strength because we have multiple slows on our build, and the 10% damage bonus is a pretty big deal. This one isn't a huge deal, but if you have 700 gear score, you can easily get to this, and just, occasionally dodging abilities will give you a little damage bump. The gear, this isn't best in slot gear for this build, but it was cheap on the trading post. Refreshing Torrent on one piece at least is a nice to have. Aside from that, health and grit ward. Otherwise, your best in slot gear would be the Frigid Dawn pieces with Enchanted Ward, LA version, and health. The shield, I just prioritized Slash Shield Ward. Your best in slot shield would be Slash Shield Ward, Enchanted Ward, and Fortifying Shield Rush. The attuned leather pants are what lets you get to 350, 100, 200. The amulet, I tried a Health Divine plus a protection, but this felt better. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second when we go over the sword skill tree. Blooddrinker, this build probably sucks without this artifact, honestly. But so leeching and lifestealing on the weapon they have an internal cooldown, so you're limited to lifesteal from one enemy at a time, basically. Ghoul's Harmony, however, does not, so you can cleave through 7 or 8 trash mobs and lifesteal the entire thing. I did have fire damage on here when I was using this for my PvP Inferno build. I'm switching it to Keen for now until I finally get the pieces I want to make my next PvP build. My earring is just my regular earring, and both my weapons are the same: Keen, Thwarting Strikes, and Lifestealing. Thwarting Strikes because you have grit for all your left clicks. Lifestealing for the extra sustain. and Keen, because both of these have a decently high crit damage multiplier, and you're almost never going to get basically free backstabs because you are your own tank in this build. Weapon mastery. So we take all of Shield Rush because of the AoE weaken and the AoE slow. The AoE slow lets us do 10% more damage because of the 200 strength, and it also makes it so our abilities do an extra 10% damage. This recuperation is a pretty big deal when you're doing the portals where I think it's the third or fourth wave spawns a couple big bosses all at the same time. That's about the only time with this build that you're actually going to have to kite sometimes. So you switch to your hatchet, pop berserk, run like hell, switch back to your sword before you pop your potions. So you get this kind of super divine here. This perk I don't take for PvP, but it's actually pretty strong in PvE because of all the lifestealing we have. We end up at full health pretty often. This I don't take for PvP, but again, since we're in the middle of a ton of trash mobs, as soon as you hit Whirling Blade, it's back off cooldown almost immediately if you hit enough creatures. Critical strike chance, again, because you're hitting things in the face instead of the back. You're your own tank. This is what allows the sword to do almost as much damage as the hatchet, even though the hatchet has far more empowers and things built into its skill tree and more crit damage, because you have the rend here and the double rend from Whirling Blade. Also, we get 30% empower from our heavy attacks, so that's why I like having empowered on the amulet. This goes from 5 seconds to 7 point something seconds, and it doesn't round it down, but it doesn't show it on your bar, so it'll say 7 seconds after you're heavy for a little bit. But you want to make sure you have this up as often as you can without forcing it to the point that it's going to cause you to take too much extra damage. This isn't my PvP tree. I take Feral Rush for PvP, but for PvE, it's mostly the same except for Rending Throw. This allows our Raging Torrent to do extra damage. This one should be a no-brainer for every build. Free 10% damage, especially when we're fighting all these trash mobs. You're going to have 5 of them on you at all times, pretty much. Full Berserk, Defy Death, break glass in case of emergency. This isn't super important, but I might as well leave it on there. I use it for my PvP build. This one, however, is pretty important, especially for the bosses. You get a Rending Throw on them, and then you do more damage because of the rend and because they have a debuff on them. Critical strikes regenerate stamina and extra crit chance. Again, we want as much crit as possible because both weapons have very high crit damage multipliers. So hopefully this version of the breakdown was a lot shorter, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll let the rest of the portal play out.